To do the do now for today, I just matched up the corresponding sides. The height of the tree went with the height of the man, so I did x over 5. And then the distance, that could be your shadow or the length of the bottom of the triangle, is 26, and the other triangle is 6.5, so I divided those together, set up a proportion. And when I solved, I got x equals 20, which means that the tree is 20 feet tall. Let's talk about geometric mean today, okay? Geometric mean is basically when I have a right triangle. So here's WXY is my right triangle, and I dropped in the altitude XZ. What happens is whenever you have a right triangle and you drop in the altitude, it creates 3 similar right triangles. Now, I like to draw all 3 of my triangles the same direction, the same orientation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at the smallest triangle here. What side is the shortest? Well, W to Z is the shortest side. Since W to Z is the shortest side, we know that the bottom of this triangle has to be WZ. Well, Z is the right angle, so we're going to put Z here. We're going to put W at this vertex. The bottom of each one of these triangles will always represent the shortest side of that triangle. What letter's left? X. X goes on top. Now I'm going to look at my medium-sized triangle. The shortest side is XZ. Z is the 90-degree angle, so Z is going to go here at the 90 degrees. X is going to go here, and what letter's way out? That's going to be Y. That's what's left. And then I'm going to look at my overall green triangle. When I look at my overall green triangle, what side is the shortest? WX. X is the 90-degree angle, so X goes here. W and Y is left over, so it goes on top. This helps me figure out what my similarity statement would be. If I can name the first triangle anything I want, so let's say I pick X, Z, W. Well, that's similar to the purple triangle, and what do we name the purple triangle? If I called the first triangle X, Z, W, I have to call the second triangle Y, Z, X. It has to go in order. So then I would have to call the third triangle, triangle Y, X, W. The reason why it has to go in order is because it's going to name the corresponding parts. We know angle X goes with angle Y, and that corresponds with angle Y in this triangle. We know angle Z goes with angle Z, which goes with angle X. And angle W goes with angle X, which goes with angle W. So what I'm going to do on the next example is I'm going to draw all 3 of these triangles again. I'm going to put them all the same orientation. I always make them look the same. The first triangle represents the smallest triangle, the middle triangle represents the medium triangle, and the last triangle represents the biggest triangle. The bottoms are the longest leg. The heights are the bottoms are the shortest legs of each triangle. The height is the longest leg of each triangle. And then the side across from the 90-degree angle, remember that's called your hypotenuse. So if I come over here and I look at this triangle, and I look at the smallest triangle, what side is the shortest on this smallest triangle? That's going to be 2. 2 is going to be the smallest leg. If I look at my 90-degree angle, the sides that make up are 2 and X. That means X is going to be my longer leg. There's nothing across from the 90-degree angle, so we're not going to worry about our hypotenuse. Then I'm going to go look at my second triangle. Here's my medium triangle. The shortest side is X, and the longer leg there is 50. So X is my shorter leg, and 50 is going to be my longer leg. Across from the 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse, and that hypotenuse has nothing marked on it, so we're going to leave that blank. Then I want to look at my overall right triangle. Here's the shorter leg, nothing's marked. Here's the longer leg, nothing's marked because my 90-degree angle is right here. And then here's the hypotenuse. Well, the hypotenuse is going to be 2 plus 50, so that's going to be 52 on my hypotenuse. I look at which 2 triangles have something in common. The first 2 triangles both have X, so I'm going to use the first 2 triangles to set up a proportion. My proportion is going to be x over 50 because I'm going to take the two long legs, set up a ratio, and I'm going to set that to equal to my two short legs, set up as a ratio. So I just made my proportion x over 50 equals 2 over x. And if I look, x are diagonal from each other. So that's really important when you're doing geometric mean, that x represents the geometric mean between 2 and 50. So we're going to do our cross multiplication. X times x is x squared. 2 times 50 is 100. To get rid of a squared, we take the square root of both sides. The square root of 100 is 10, so x equals 10. The height of the small triangle and the short leg of the medium-sized triangle is both 10. So now I want you to pause the video and I want you to try to do the next example. Okay, when I look at the next example, this is how I set up my triangles. The short leg of the small triangle was 8, the long leg was x, the short leg of the medium triangle was x, the long leg was 10, and the hypotenuse of the overall purple triangle was 8 plus 10, which is 18. You set up your proportion, 8 over 10 equals 8 over x, and when you do this, you end up getting x squared equals 80, and then you have to take the square root of both sides. Well, that means that x is going to equal the square root of 80, but we have to reduce our radical. The square root of 80 reduces to square root of 16 times the square root of 5, and the square root of 16 is 4. So my real answer is 4 square roots of 5. Pause the video and try the next example on your own. On the next example, I set up my triangles like this. I changed this 8 to a number 2 because 8's not realistic, so 8 shouldn't have been here to begin with. This should have been a 2. So if I look, the only thing I want to tell you about your triangles, go look at your overall triangle. The hypotenuse of your overall triangle is going to be 2 and x added together. So my answer is x plus 2 over here on your hypotenuse. If I pick my first two triangles, what do they have in common? They both have the number 6. So I did 6 over x, the long legs divided, and the ratio between the short legs divided. I set them equal to each other and solved, and I got x equals 18. On the next example, it's a little bit harder, so what I would like you guys to do is just set up your 3 triangles and write down the sides on there, and then resume the video. When I come look at my last example, my shortest side is going to be 6, my longer leg is going to be 8, and my hypotenuse, the side across from the 90-degree angle, is going to be x on the smallest triangle. On the medium triangle, the shortest leg is 8, the longer leg is y, and the side across from the 90-degree angle is z. And then overall in your big triangle, the shortest leg is x, the longer leg is z, and then the hypotenuse is going to be 6 plus y, or I'm going to write it as y plus 6. So which two triangles have something in common? If I just look at the first two triangles, they both have the number 8. So I'm going to do 8 and y. Those are both the long legs, so I'm going to do 8 over y. And I'm going to set that equal to the two short legs, which is 6 over 8. I'm going to cross multiply, get y. 6y equals 64. And I'm going to divide both sides by 6. When I divide by 6 on both sides, I get a wacky number, and that's okay. We'll reduce this fraction, and we're going to get y equals 32 over 3. We want to leave it as an improper fraction. That was get the value of y. To get the value of x, if I look at that first triangle, maybe you notice in this first triangle that you know two sides and you're trying to find the third. Well, since this is a right triangle, we can use Pythagorean theorem. The x has to be our c squared. So a squared plus b squared, we're going to do 6 squared plus 8 squared, and we're going to see if that equals x squared. Well, 6 squared plus 8 squared is 100. That equals x squared. Take the square root of both sides, and we actually get that x equals 10. To get our y, look at these first two triangles. You know how they both had 8 in common? Oh, in order to get z, look at these first two triangles. You notice how they have something in common? They have 8s and, well, I want to figure out what z is. Well, I know this x up here is equal to, this side length is 10. So if I go with my original short side, which is 6 over 8, set up a proportion. I'm going to set that equal to, now we've got 10 over z. Those are both the hypotenuses. So I can do 10 over z. I'm going to cross multiply and divide. I get 6z equals 80. Divide both sides by 6, and when you do this, you're going to get a funky answer. So we're just going to leave z as an improper fraction. We're going to reduce that fraction, and we get 40 over 3.